Gomez gang, we have an equation. We need to make sure we understand what that equation represents. I want to write this into English. 1.2, open parentheses, 0.6x, close parentheses. In other words, we have 120% of 60% of x. That's the situation that's going on with that expression. We need to make sure that we can now put it into a story. Now let's think about this for a second. How did I get to 60% of x? Well, if I'm finding 60% of something, that has to be a decrease from my original of x. So in order for me to get to a 60% of x, there has to be a discount or a decrease of 40% of x. Cool, that's what's happening. We have x minus 40% of x in order to get to 60% of x. Now, last but not least, you do have that 120%. We know that 120% is a 20% increase. But is it a 20% increase of x? No. It is a 20% increase of 60% of x. So we're going to simply write this as a 20% increase to 60% of x. Cool. We're going to read these expressions into stories. We're going to read these stories to determine which one of these answers matches the expression. We have a 20% tax is applied to a dress that has been discounted by 60%. Now, a 20% tax we know is an increase. So we're definitely at the 120% there. However, is applied to a dress that has been discounted by 60%. If I'm taking 60% off of my price, then I'm left with 40%. In the story, am I discounting my x by 60%? No, I'm discounting it by 40%. That is not the answer that we're looking for, simply because of a 60% discount. No, thank you. A store is offering a sale where all items are 20% off their already discounted price of 40% off of the original price. Now, if my original price is x and I'm taking off 40%, then I'm at 60%. So that sounds pretty good. However, a sale where all items are 20% off of their already discounted price, I'm not taking 20% off again. In fact, I'm increasing my sale price by 20%. So B, no thank you. C, a coat is on sale for 40% of the original price, and Ben has a coupon for an additional 20% off. So we have two discounts here, right? Two decreases. A coat is on sale for 40% of. If it's 40% of the original price, that means that they took off 60%. So that doesn't make sense. And on top of that, Ben has a coupon for an additional 20% off. That means that 20% more is coming off. It's not an increase. We are increasing in this expression. C, no thank you. On to this last one, and I want to see if it actually makes sense, or else I must have done something wrong. Right? But the price of a computer has been discounted by 40%. If I'm discounting something by 40%, then I'm left with 60%. So that sounds pretty good. And then it's marked up by 20%. And we know that marking it up represents an increase of 20%. This matches my expression. I'm taking 40% off, and then I'm adding 20% of that 60% of x. That is how you read that expression, and that is how you can tie it back to any one of these answer choice stories. Hope that helped.